All right, let's go over your warm-up. Anyone know how to do number 1? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you're going to subtract them. They have different signs, so you're going to subtract the numbers, keep the sign of the larger number. So what do you get? -16. Good. So on your warm-up sheet, you could just put 1, -16. You don't need to write the problem. You can just do it very quickly. Number 2, I see a minus next to a negative. What's minus a negative? All right, so I heard you guys say we're going to make that a plus. What's 13 plus 5? 18. Good. All right, 3 and 4, you are going to use the order of operations. If you forgot the order of operations, it's parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, add and subtract. Multiply and divide happen at the same time from left to right, so do add and subtract. So, number 3, we need to do 4 squared first. What's 4 squared? $16, good. That's 4 multiplied by itself 2 times. So 4 times 4, 16. What's 2 squared? 4, and then now you can do the addition. What's 16 plus 4? 20. Very good. Number 4, same type of problem, order of operations. There's no parentheses, there's no exponents, so I can do multiplication and division from left to right. So I will do this multiplication first. That gives me 8. Then I will do that. Gives me 10. That gives me 12. Now you can add from left to right. 8 plus 10 plus 12 is 30. Good. Any questions on the first 4? Alright, number 5, this says write a variable expression for each given phrase. Anytime you see variable expression, there should be a letter in there somewhere, a variable. We use variables in math when we don't know something. So, 2 times a number. This is what we don't know. So somebody pick a letter. M. Alright, so I'm going to do 2 times M. Remember, a number right next to a letter implies multiplication. You don't need to put a symbol in between it. Then a minus sign and a 4. Good. Now, if you have 2x minus 4, that's fine. 2, some letter, minus 4. Alright, the next one says 9 more than. More than is addition. So 9 plus 8 times a number. Very similar to the one above. We're going to do 8, and then a number, you're going to pick a letter to represent that number that we don't know. B, V works for me. Now, addition is what we call commutative. It can go in any order. So if you wrote it 8V plus 9, that would be fine as well. Either one of those is acceptable. Any questions on your warm-up? Now, I'll repeat what I said a minute ago. Normally, you'll do the warm-up and we'll collect it before we go over it, so it will be graded on whether or not it's correct. But for today, I wanted you to have an opportunity to correct your own work because we're all kind of getting back into the swing. So put those to the corner of your desk. I'll come around and collect them while you start taking notes. So in your notes, you need the number and the title and the objective every single day. So you should start with 1.1. Finding and describing patterns, the objective, to find patterns, and to make predictions. All of that needs to be in your notes. Here's the first example. You do not need to be a world-class artist to get this down. Just draw the shapes as best as you can. As you are drawing each shape, try to notice how are they moving from one to the next. What is changing? Also pay attention to the directions. What are they asking you to do? Are they asking you to describe a pattern? Are they asking you to finish a pattern? Are they asking you something specific about the pattern? Make sure you're answering what they're asking. This one is asking you how many sides will the next figure have? So we are going to pay close attention to what's happening to the sides. 7. How'd you get 7? Yeah, if you count the number of sides, this one has 3 sides, this one has 4 sides, this one has 5 sides, and 6 sides. So the next figure should have 7 sides. 7 is the answer. Now, if it said draw the figure, you'd have to draw a 7-sided figure. But it just says how many sides will it have, so your answer is 7. Technically, you should say 7 sides. Here's example 2.
You gotta write the question too.
I would definitely write the question for A and B. You don't really need the directions. You can put them if you'd like them. You will be able to tell by how you answered the question what the directions were. But yes, I would definitely write 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. Now, I will draw your attention to one word here. Describe. So are we finishing the pattern? No. Are we filling in the next 2 numbers? No. We are just saying what's happening here between each number. So try to think of that as you're writing these down. We'll discuss it in 30 seconds. Anyone know for part A what's happening? I heard you say adding. Adding 3. Good. So, very simple. That's the pattern. Plus 3 every time. Your descriptions of these patterns do not need to be super technical or super... oh, I don't even know what word I'm looking for. What? Detailed, super sophisticated. Thank you. I was drawing a blank. The plus sign and a 3 works for me. All right, there are actually 2 ways to describe the pattern in part B. Does anyone know one way? You add 3 between the 1 and the 4. I agree with that. But 4 plus 3 would give you 7, not 9. So. Yeah, you're adding 3, then you're adding 5, then you're adding 7, then you're adding, what, 9? And then what? 11. So you are adding, I'll put a plus sign. How would you describe the numbers 3, 5, 7, 9, 11? Very good. Adding odd numbers. Alright, that's one word, or one way to describe it. I will use another color to describe it in another way. Does anyone notice anything else significant about these numbers 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36? I'll give you a hint. What's 1 squared? It's 1. What's 2 squared? What's 3 squared? What's 4 squared? What's 5 squared? What's 6 squared? Good. So you could say these are perfect squares. I always thought this pattern was super cool. 2 ways to describe the exact same pattern, completely different approaches, and they both work. Questions on example 2, A or B? All right, here's 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'll give you a few minutes to copy them down. Notice the directions again, just say describe the pattern so we don't have to draw more figures or list more numbers. We're just trying to put into words what's happening here. Okay, if you are anything like me, I always pick out the easy ones, do them first, makes me feel like I'm working really fast. So, are there any problems on the board that you already know the answer to in any order? Which one? The first one. All right, we'll go in order. What's the pattern on the first one? Okay, so you're saying this one had 1 line, this one had 3 lines, this one has like 4 little lines. So they're adding a line each time? Is that what you're trying to say? Okay, good. Good. So by adding that extra line, what is it doing to the number of pieces inside the circle? Yeah, it's separating the circle into, yeah, more pieces. Good. So how could we say that? We are adding 1 piece to each, what are these? Circles. Good. We are adding 1 piece to each circle. Done. There are multiple ways to describe this. You could say, like the original answer, you're adding 1 line each time, you're adding 1 piece each time, my first hour wanted to describe it using fractions, so if you want to do it that way, you can. As long as I can read your description and visualize the next figure from your description, you are good to go. All right, in any order, any other ones you feel really confident about? Number 5. That's the first one I would have done too. What's going on in number 5? Adding 4 each time. Good. Plus 4. Done. Anyone feel drawn to number 6? That would be my next choice. Yeah. Subtracting 5 each time. Good. If you are unsure, if this is not something that jumps out at you, I always decide, are the numbers going up, or are they going down? If the numbers are going up, you're either using addition or multiplication. If the numbers are going down, you're either using subtraction or division. So, number 5, between 4 and 8, you could think, oh, they're either multiplying by 2 or they're adding 4. Both of those would work. And then just see which one holds up for all the rest of the numbers. Here you're adding 4, adding 4, adding 4, and it holds up between all the numbers, so we know for sure it's adding 4. I'm not really sure how you would divide 35 to get 30, so division is probably really quick to rule out on this one, but subtracting 5 does hold up, so this one is subtracting 5. Alright, we got one more left. It's probably the hardest one to describe in words on this slide. Does anyone know it? Yes, ma'am?
Oh, I think you number 4.
What do you have for number 4? Oh, you didn't get number 4. Sorry, I thought you were raising your hand to answer number 4. You want to try it?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think's happening here?
I don't
Good.
down,
Rotating it. What's the it we're describing? It's sort of a triangle. The shaded figure. Okay, good. So rotating shaded figure down 1. I don't know if down is a good way to describe it. Which is it going left, right, clockwise, counterclockwise? Left. Okay, good. Rotating shaded figure left 1. On each, how would you describe this? Looks like a sun, doesn't it? Like how a little kid would draw a sun. So rotating the shaded figure left 1 on each sun works for me. My first hour used the word ray of the sun. They use counterclockwise instead of left. So again, there are various ways to describe this pattern. As long as I can read your words and visualize what the next sun shape should look like, you are good to go. Any questions? As you are drawing these rhombus arrow type figures, pay attention to the directions. It says sketch the next figure. So I don't need a bunch of words describing what's happening. All I need is what would come next. Again, I will not grade you on your artistic ability. I will grade you on whether or not I can see the pattern. So what should I start with? Yeah, a diamond or a rhombus or a sideways square, however you want to describe it, you need to have one of those. Now there's an arrow inside. What's happening to the arrow? Yeah, it's rotating. First it was pointing up, then it was pointing left, then it was pointing down. Which way should this one point? To the right. Good. So yes, and it needs to be dark. Good. There's another pattern besides the way the arrow is pointing. How it's shaded is changing as well. So it goes light, dark, light. We can assume the next one should be dark. So give it a good shading. Questions on this one? Here's number 8. Parts A and B. This one we actually have to do both pieces. So we are describing the pattern and we are listing the next 2 numbers. Any ideas on number 8? It's kind of a tricky pattern. 8A. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, so it looked like
It might be nice to go one at a time. What happened here? It went up 10. What happened here? It went up 20. Good. What happened here? Went up 40. What happened here? Went up 80. Good. Now, there is a pattern within the pattern. How would you go from 10 to 20, from 20 to 40, from 40 to 80? What are they doing each time? They're adding that number to itself, right? 10, yeah, 10 plus 10 is 20. 20 plus 20 is 40. So yeah, they are multiplying by 2 each time they're adding. So we're going to need to multiply by 2 and multiply by 2. So it's a pattern within a pattern. So on the next one, 80 times 2, I'm going to want to add 160. And then 160 times 2, I'm going to add 320. So a pattern within a pattern. Now, if you write everything that I just wrote, you just described the pattern. That part's done. If you want to do it off to the side in words, you can. Adding 10 times 2 each time, something like that would be fine. But now we have to actually figure out what the next numbers would be. So what's 160 plus, sorry, what's 161 plus 160? 321. And what's 321 plus 320? 641. Good. That was a tricky one. That's one where honestly I couldn't really figure the pattern out unless I wrote it out. So last night when I was looking up this pattern, I was like, what is happening? Are they multiplying by something? Are they adding something? I don't know. And I just started writing out that red part, and then I noticed, hey, there's a pattern within the pattern, and then I figured it out. So sometimes these are a little trickier than just something you can do in your head. Any questions? Okay, part B is a little easier. Anyone know what's happening there? They're going down, so I'm going to probably be doing some sort of subtraction or division. The numbers are a little too close to be division. You're not dividing by 2 or anything, so let's try subtraction. What's the difference between 311 and 297? Some of you have calculators. Go ahead and do 311 minus 297. Let me know what it gives you. 14. Now, let's see if that holds true. Is 297 minus 14 283? Okay, hit minus 14 again. See if it gives you 269. Hit minus 14 again. See if it gives you 255. Okay, hit minus 14 again and tell me what you get. 241. Hit minus 14 again and tell me what you get. 227. Good. So once you find the pattern, you don't even have to clear your calculator. You can just type it in. Minus 14, enter. Minus 14, enter. Minus 14, enter. And it'll do it for you. Questions on 8. That was a good one. All right, here is number 9 and number 10. We are back to the directions of describe, so we're not drawing any figures. We're trying to put into words what is happening here. Yes, go ahead and draw these. I'll give you a couple minutes. Again, they don't have to be world-class art. Just a quick sketch would be fine. Can anyone describe to me what's going on in number 9? Yes, ma'am.
They're rotating to the right corner of the star.
Good. Rotating. What's rotating?
The pieces of the stars that right.
Good. The shaded piece? Good. So we're rotating the shaded piece, or these are actually triangles if you want to be technical. So we are rotating the shaded triangle right. Or if you want to say clockwise, that works too. If you want to call the triangle the piece, that's fine. If you want to use blue instead of shaded, that's fine. Many different variations of the same correct answer. All right, last example for the day. We have a square in a square, then we have a square in a square in another square. What's happening each time? You're adding a square. You're adding a square to the inside of the squares, or adding a square in the square. So again, pay attention to the directions. If it says describe, it should look like this. If it said finish the pattern, you would have a star with a shaded piece, and you would have a square in a square in a square in another square. Questions on 9 and 10. All right, it is homework time. Your homework today is section 1.1 worksheet. I will go ahead and give it to you. If you get done in class and don't trust yourself to carry it around, you can put it in this basket. This will be due at the beginning of class tomorrow, so make sure you have it done between now and then. Any questions?